Grace and peace from the Lord Jesus Christ be with you all.
And also with you.
Lord, prepare us in peace to give your words.
Holy Spirit, hear us and anoint us.
May we be good soil as we receive the seeds of your love.
May we bear the good fruit of salvation in honoring you. Come, praise the Lord.
Sing songs from a grateful heart,
and remember what he has done for us.
We're going to now sing hymn 233, Take My Life and Let It Flow. Empower us with the Holy Spirit so that our lives may continually glorify you. This we pray in Jesus' name. Amen. Prayer of confession. Lord, forgive us when we doubt your mercy and your love. Help us to wait and remember that it is in process of waiting that we hear your voice. We find excuses not to be attentive to you, but to focus instead on our own desires. Lord, we do not put our faith in your abiding presence. Forgive us when we show and how shallow our faith is. We judge others who fail to live up to our expectations. Help us to see and realize that we are all your children. May we be transformed into people of joyful service and faith. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. We are in prayer of thanksgiving. Thank you, Lord, for your unwavering love, support, guidance through our daily struggles. Thank you for listening to our prayers, although we might not always be faithful. We give thanks because you never fail us. Thank you for health, strength, grace, forgiveness, peace, joy, and for your unconditional love for us. Lord, that whatever we do it in the name of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. thank you for every blessing and every trial, for the shape us into what we are and meant to be, and who you want us to be. Thank you for new mercies and blessings each day and every day. We thank you for wonderful families, spouses, food on the table, and roofs over our heads. We gratefully give thanks for all you have done as well as what you are going to do in our lives. For making us see the new day and giving us the opportunity to worship with each other. In Jesus' holy name, amen. We now have to welcome by the steward on duty.
Good morning, sisters and brothers in Christ.
Good morning.
I greet you in the precious name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I want to welcome each and every one of you this morning to worship and pray and trust that God would continue to bless you. And today, as we celebrate MCC Women's Day, that you will rise up and be all the woman that God wants you to be. That we will be women of prayer, women of substance, and women that would lead our families in the way that God wants us to be. So welcome each and every one of you, and have a blessed time in the presence of God. Amen.
Together
Methodist graduation, so I thought I would tell it and share it with you. Alright? You see how it applies. How many of you know who an anthropologist is? An anthropologist. The archaeologist has got like up all them ancient civilizations. Similar. Who is an anthropologist? I shall bring a prize this morning now because who is an yes, oh, they're going to Google, yes. Are they Googling it? Who's an anthropologist? So in history, I have a little history to do with it.
Alright? And anthropologists, we know who a sociologist is. They study societies. A psychologist studies the human mind, behavior. Some of it ancient, but an anthropologist...
Latent society.
Pardon?
Study latent society.
You going past the class? Alright, latent societies, yes. They study human beings and human behavior. But the kind of anthropologists I'm looking at today, they study cultures. I'm looking at a cultural anthropologist. So they go to all these tribes all over the world and they stay with them and they try not to touch too much of their lives in order to see how human behavior has grown, how it has evolved, and how it has evolved, and how cultures are different. There is what do you call it, a story about an anthropologist, before I talk to my story about this anthropologist, that, you know, when they give them pasta to eat, like pasta would be cooked, they were disgusted by it. But these are people who have been eating worms, since they, you know what I mean, worms within in them, but it all has to do about your culture. Things that we find interesting in our culture, and that we do readily, other cultures don't think that. Things we eat, like we drink cow meal soup. Some people will not touch that. What else do we eat in Trinidad? Oxtail. What else? Pigtail. Oh, this is something to write, eh? Pigtail. What else we eat here? Crab. Many people, other cultures eat crab, but we have a, you know, we have a crab thing. What else? Money. Water. Oh Lord, where we are going? Water. What else? Horse. Maybe eating horse. Alright, some cultures eat horse, but what else? Anything else we eat?
Crapo.
Crapo? We don't see crapo?
But you don't know.
You don't know?
The Chinese prepared for you.
Oh, they're saying yes? Alligator, yes. There's also alligator. Snake. We eat almost everything, and if you go in a different culture, Canada going to the middle. In a different culture, people eat different things, right? So we have to, so while in our culture, a dog is our pet, in Chinese culture and other cultures, a dog is what? A delicacy. So let's stay there and wait there. Alright? So let me get to the real thing of my story, and I'm just telling you about anthropologists, okay? So this anthropologist was in this village working for several months, maybe extended to a year, and it was a female anthropologist. And when she, I say it's a female because today's women's, right? Was a female anthropologist, and then she was working and she had the children always, as she moved here, the children always moving with her, going from one place to the next. So she said on the last day, she was going to do something nice for the children. So she bought some sweets, and as all children like sweets, and she said, you know what? I am going to rest this basket of sweets under a particular tree, like a hide and seek game. And she told the children of the village, listen, I hid some sweets, you all don't know where it is, but I hid it under a tree. And I'm going to line you all up here, I'm going to draw a line here, and you all are going to race to see who gets the sweets. The person who reaches to the tree first gets all the sweets. So she told the children, ready, steady, is steady or steady? She said steady, go, steady or whatever. She said, go. And to her surprise, she was expecting the race of her life. The children held hands, started to sing and jump, and all of them held hands and went towards the tree, and each sat down and shared and ate. So she was like, what? Why did you do that? What's the point? And they told her, what is the point if I have all this and my brother or sister in the village has nothing? Then they told her about an African term called Ubuntu. Ubuntu. Ubuntu means I am because we are. I am because we are. In our society today, we all think that we are running races. and we are all in competition with each other. I'm not saying that there isn't competition. I am not saying that there isn't a race to be won. But that everything we do is about racing. We have to lift each other up. You see your brother and or sister falling by the wayside? It is not for you to glorify in that. Do you know that people do that? They rejoice in person's sorrows. They rejoice in person's pain. You are to lift up your brothers and sisters. You are to lift them up. How do you feel? I'm not saying that you're not working hard to get what you have, but to have an excess, and the neighbor next to you has what? Nothing. Now you may not know because people not like long ago. You know what I mean? Where your neighbor is what? You basically know your neighbor. So you may know when they don't have anything, you could get them a hand of fig. But in today's society, we do not know. So what do we do as a community? We must take that message with us. That because I am, because we are. We must know that as a community, even as a church, that we cannot sit down here and be comfortable when there are others out there. There are people out there who I think don't know where the next meal coming from. When we go and we look at the prices in the grocery, I don't know what it is to spend $100 in the grocery. When last year you spent $100 in the grocery? That is like you're joking, you're laughing at yourself. What $100 buying in the grocery these days? What? Macaroni? One item cheese? What else? Don't go with $100 and embarrass yourself. You get macaroni, cheese, what else? A carton of milk, you getting corned beef for that? You getting eggs? You getting cheese? You can get some things. Alright. And we have people in our society right now, they are making less than whatever they. We have pensioners whose pension hasn't raised since when? Since when? Pardon? I'm not talking about old age pensioners, I'm talking about government workers, pensioners, not old age pensioners. I'm talking about people who worked, teachers, nurses, yeah, since 1993, right, you haven't gotten a raise. And everything else, going up. There may be persons among us here this morning too, who we don't even know, who may be going through a time. And we don't know. They said we're looking pretty, but we don't know. But I want you to take that spirit of community with you as the Africans do in that particular tribe. Now I don't know if the story is real or anything because they call it the Ubuntu tribe. But on the internet you never know. So, you never know, but the message is there. So I want you, as much as you go through this week, to think, I am because we are. We have no children, something to say. But you are going to say something? What you are going to say? Something community based? Ah, yes. We don't have that later on in the service, right? No, okay, good. So we are going to sing We Are One, and they know we are Christians by our love. So we sing We Are One in the Spirit, We Are One in the Lord.
Thank you.
not. All right. All right, let's sing the last verse. The last verse that they have. Look at yourself. We sing the last verse again one more time. Almighty Father.
Sister Sherian, for your message. Now we have the MCCA Woman President's message.
Will be done by the steward who has just walked outside. So I guess we will just go to another. We will sing the hymn. There was Jesus Saves Me Now. And as we sing Jesus Saves Me Now, I would like for the woman, oh here she's coming. We know how we sang it long time, so we will go, it's going to be coming up, so think about it. The woman, of course, will be curtsy, will be bowing, and the men curtsy. The woman bow and the men curtsy. Well, and the woman curtsy, all right.
Greetings. Welcome to the Methodist Church in the Caribbean and the Americas MCCA Women's Lord's Day service. On this day, all women throughout the Caribbean are celebrating and worshiping using the same order of service, reminding us of our unity at the connectional level in doing God's work, living out the motto, in service for Christ. All Methodist women, including those belonging to the Women's League and other women's group are under the umbrella of the MCCA Women. The MCCA Women represents us at the World Federation of Methodists and Uniting Church Women. This unity helps us to overcome fear and also increase the bonding in prayer with the men and youth organizations to witness to others. As a church, we have the responsibility to nurture our children. We must be bold and strong in proclaiming God's words in thoughts and deeds. Last month on Mother's Day, we reflected on Jochebed, who amidst fear and adversity of those in powerful position was able to save her child Moses. Moses became a great leader and led the Israelites out of bondage from the Egyptian king Pharaoh. In both instances, God demonstrated his power by saving baby Moses and the Israelites across the Red Sea to safety. God is always in the still small voice amidst tribulation. Elijah, after revealing God's power against 450 Baal prophets, became fearful when Jezebel sought to take his life. He fled out of fear for 40 days, forgetting his faith in God when he challenged the 450 Baal prophets. God restored Elijah's hope. He will restore our hope in service to him. In disappointments and adversities, 40 is a significant number in the Bible. In 2020, we celebrate 40 years of MCCA Women existing as an organization representing the MCCA Women in the Connection. Please continue in prayer for the success of the MCCA Women 2020 Assembly. We are called by God to proclaim his power in word and action. Be empowered by hymn 669 in the Methodist hymn book, indicated in the following two stanzas. Dear Lord, and Father of mankind, forgive our foolish ways. Reclothe us in our rightful mind. In purer lives thy service find. In deeper reverence praise. In simple trust like theirs who heard, beside the Syrian sea, the gracious calling of the Lord, let us, like them without a word, rise up and follow thee. May the service experience today empower you to work always to the glory of God. Every blessing, Lois Grant Hector, the MCCA Women President.
To be shown on the screen.
I accept the call of God to service and trusting in his strength,
sing to Oh Jesus, I have promised to serve thee to the end.
not singing. And this morning, yesterday, when Sister Anne called me and asked me to sing, this was the first song that popped in my mind. It's one of my songs I love dearly. And thank you.
Thank you, Sister Reed, for that rendition. So, now, after that lustrous singing, we're going to greet each other in Jesus' name.
So we were. Wow.
Yes, good morning. Welcome this morning, or this today, worldwide. We are celebrating MTSA Women's Day. And it's just fitting that I should just be what I am. And as Shoyan said, I am what we are, right? I am we are. So I am imparting on you some sort of thing that will help you in life. It's similar like proclaiming, all right? So we will be doing a topic. It's common to everyone, especially women. It is common. A lot of us might have undergone many of the things that I'll be speaking about, or some may not, but it is a way of preparing you all for that something. So something is what? Right? So our topic this morning is menopause. You know what I mean? Many of us could attest to this. We can think with it. There are others who are aspiring to become, to be there. Right? So the question, menopause, and we ask the question what? Right? So this morning, we will be dealing with the what? the what's in menopause. Everybody asking us some question, what's? So we'll deal with some what's this morning. And we're going to answer some questions, and the questions will be, what is menopause? What are the reasons? Why menopause? What can we do in preparing? What can we look for? What can we do, right? And how would it affect us health-wise? And then we will conclude with the what. What next? Okay? So we shall go ahead now. So we know that menopause. I should ask you what is menopause. Anybody willing to ask? Answer? Menopause. We want to be interactive, right? I mean, because something everyone knows here. Yes, the back.
Menopause is a stage women go through when they succeed in menstrual cycle.
Okay, right, and she's correct. You know, but just to add a little more on what she had said, it's it has to be seized for 12 months in a row. But, and it's a time when a woman no longer be fertile. Some of us love to meet that age. Because if like the normal local parents said, every Monday morning I'm pregnant. You know, you long to meet that stage when you're no longer, right? I believe that's the only time that someone would love to be at that stage. But someone like me, or younger than me, would not like to be in that stage, all right? Because you have not had a child, before menopause, that is what will give you that child. And it's a blessing, all right? So furthermore, we'll say that it's a normal part of woman's life. It's not something that is foreign or anything. Sometime in our lives, we as women will reach that stage. It is a process. It is a life developmental, if you want to call it that way. And so the average age, if you look at the United States, it could be the same here, is about 52. Okay? And it does not happen all at once, right? And we have to remember that it's not a disease that needs to be cured. All right? It's not a disease that needs to be cured. It's something that, and what normally happens is that there's a change, right? Changes happen throughout each woman's body. It is through the aging process. So that is the reason we said, what? The reason is that it's the hormones are being interrupted, and it's all because of the aging process that each one of us goes through. It might be different for some of us, but we all go through that stage. All right, so it's something that we have been expecting to happen one way or the other. Sometimes with some people it happens earlier than we expect, because some people experience menopause as early as, or let me say pre-menopause as early as in their 30s, right? And it is said that premenopause, it starts around 40 years and it lasts for about 4 years. That's before the actual stoppage or the actual pause, right? And this is, as we said, the hormones level are interrupted, so hence the reason the hormones that are within our bodies, which are the estrogen and the progesterone, they are lowered. It is less. Our ovaries fail at this point in time, as you say, shut down, but some are not totally, to produce the ovaries. And that helps to do a lot to our bodies. So we started the preparation. First, you have to know what comes before and what will come after. You have to know some of the symptoms, how it manifests. Okay? You'll have to understand that it's not always because of menopause that it is not the cause is not always menopause. Whatever, even though it stops, it does not have to be menopause. Okay? We have to also understand that it's a life choice. We have to make some lifestyle changes because it helps us as women to go through it much easier. And research has shown that hormone replacement therapy helps. So we need to research these things to get on so that we're able to manage that period of our lives. So in that case, we are prepared for. So when it comes, it will not hit us like a breakthrough. Okay, so what are some of the manifestations? Everybody knows? Could just short some of the how it manifests, or you want the symptoms. Could just show some symptoms there for me? Hot flashes, and that is the most common one. Mood swings, yes. Anxiety, depression. You have changes in your sexual, in changes about sex, not only the sexual part of it alone. Okay. Problem sleeping, you have memory problem, irregular bleeding, this is the first sign you will normally see. It comes at the pre and will continue even after. But what do we have to know again with the bleeding parts, but I'll touch that when I go there. So, and also we have vaginal problems where you have easy to get into contract infections, such as sexually transmitted infections or disease, as we would want to call it. Right, so we go on to the next question. What is or what can be done? What is it? So we will just touch briefly, I may not go through for time, all of it, but what are these symptoms, and what can we of ourselves do to help to manage that state? Okay, hot flashes, we know that it's flashes or flushes, either one of them you can use. Then you might hear me using flushes, you might hear me using flashes, but they are all the same. And it is saying that it's sweating, chills. You don't always have to be hot all the time, but it could be very chilly at times. Especially after the flush, you get a very chill. You want to cover up. So one time you're very hot, and next time you're cold, right? And it's mostly in the upper part of your body, and some people have it even before the menopause, even before the actual state, right? So what do we do? Well, some of us would realize that, okay, when I'm in this particular place, or if I eat certain food, or if I do certain things, I will get that coming on more regular. So we have to keep track of what are the triggers, what trigger it to happen, and we kind of withdraw from some of those triggers. Right? We drink cold water, but one thing about cold water, which I was really awakened to, when we drink cold water, thinking that cold water will tend to cool the body. It don't always cool the body. It tends to bring on an extra heat. Right? So the best water to drink is the room temperature water. Right? Despite they said cold water. But that is just for the moment, but after that cold, it goes to the body, and because of the energy to cool it down, it emanates a heat. Just like if you go into a bathroom and you do a hot bath, when you come to always sweating, right? It's better to think. Anyway, so you just try to be as comfortable as possible, using the fan, you less your clothing, and it's a time that you feel very uncomfortable, you know. Next thing we can do, lose weight. Study shows that obese persons tend to have more hot flashes than others, and the little short period tend to be even longer. Reasons that with fat, there's more energy being exhausted in order to bring down that. So the extra fat will take more energy, and that's where the heat will come on even more. So we could think about hormone therapy, because we were supposed to be finished before, and depending on, maybe you might have other conditions that might contribute to this kind of hot flashes as well. So there are other medications that could help, like medication for some that goes for high blood pressure can be used as well. Similarly, those set tablets can even bring on the hot flashes. So it's a kind of, Right, so we look at vaginal infections or anything with problem. And the first one is that vaginal dryness. You're not as liquid as before. You're not as wet as before. And this is because of the lowering of the estrogen, all right? And it can cause a lot of discomfort, and from there, because of the walls are being thin and dry, you tend to have breakage, and that could even go on to infections. So what can we do? Well, we could use some moisturizers and let it be a water base, not oil base, right? And then we could even use medications as well. Okay, irregular bleeding. This might precede the actual stoppage, right? And then you might have some little spotting in between. But we have to realize that sometimes what happens is that it is more or less at different times, depending on the person. And it could be fewer in days, it could be lighter or heavier accordingly, right? So what do we do? Well, number one, we have to see our doctor, because this is a period of time that we are not expecting a child, right? And we are still young. So instead of blaming it on menopause, you go to the doctor just to rule out pregnancy, as well as maybe cancer or other serious problems. What can we do? Well, besides seeing the doctor, well, that is basically what we do. So the problem sleeping, a lot of us have problems sleeping. This could arise because of the heat, the hot flushes, the sweat. It could become that we are difficult. We can't we go to bed and it is difficult to stay asleep, right? And in that case now, when you get up in the morning, you're more tired than even before. And this will come around about like, you have to go to the bathroom very often, and this is one of the symptoms that is manifested. And sometimes just during the day, because our bodies are not young as it used to be before. So even during the day, with your normal chores that you used to do 10 years ago, you realize now that you're feeling so tired. And some of us, even though we are feeling tired, we still push ourselves. And in the night time, we end up being a little too tired. And when people are tired, they cannot sleep as they're supposed to. So we need to look at that. And so if you're having problems sleeping, we always learn as a child or children, you do not eat a heavy meal just before you go to bed, right? No alcohol, smoking especially before bedtime, and especially caffeine. And some people, a warm milk, a warm drink will help, right? Then we have TVs, and most of us have this big setup in our rooms, right? Computer there, whatever, all gadgets, music. I'm not saying music can have nice songs, depending on the person. But sometimes these things could distract us from our sleep, because the screen is always bright and not everybody could react to light. So we said, so let us put this as the bedroom is supposed to be an area just to sleep, all right? So you try to eliminate all those things, let it be dark and cozy, and so that you're able to fall asleep easily. And then if perchance like in the daytime, some of us take some rest through the day. If we know that for a fact that we interrupt our sleep in the night, well, we lessen that, or if possible, we could not do that, right? And we also need to reduce on some of the tasks that we normally do. Memory problems. That is a normal process in aging as well. And remember, aging is one of the constitutes to menopause, or one of the manifestations, or the reasons for menopause. And said 2/3 of women have this premenopausal effect on us by memory. So we forget, we can't focus, and something. That's why we said once a man, twice a child, right? Because we go back to that child stage where we cannot really focus. So we need to get enough sleep, physical exercise, we need to eat healthy, and which is being called up most of the time, is smoking, right? And then we're supposed to be socially active, because it's said that when you are active socially, the delays in memory loss, as well as it helps to prevent the diseases like Alzheimer's and dementia. So, next thing, you always try to be mental, because people say, okay, you might see, a lot of people do it, crossword puzzles, this sort of game, because they said, you see me, I'm trying to see if I could beat this Alzheimer's thing. But it's not only for Alzheimer's as well, for menopause as well. You can, in whatever mental whatever that suits your, that is your so inclined, you can do it. So like, some people go out in a limb and maybe now that we have migrants coming to our country, they say, okay, let me take on the challenge and learn a new language. And that will help your brain to be active, right? And you, of course, you always make some reference to your medical person so that they will be able to direct you accordingly or guide you accordingly, right? Urinary problems, well, that's just, you know, and again, it's just because of the low estrogen as well as the progesterone, because you've got weakened bladders, and something you kind of hold the urine, and something you have to do little other things that could be embarrassing, but at the same time, nobody don't have to know that you are wearing a pamper, you're wearing whatever that you might want to use to help, you know. And at this point in time, you can't really, or you should not, delay the urge to go to the bathroom. We have mood swings. I think this is another common one. And sometimes the mood swings don't always be menopause, because young people get mood swings as well. And it could be a heightened, just as how we have lower, it could be a heightened estrogen as well. So, so the mood swings, it could be very irritable. So when you see your friend coming or your brother or mommy, sometimes we need to understand that, well, okay, she might be having a bad day. And don't take it as if she's being very vindictive or anything towards you all. Sometimes it could be just the menopause that you're going, because it's a whole life-changing experience that many of us do, and especially men. So they don't understand, right? So suddenly you're being good, happy, and then the next minute you start to cry, and you're going in a corner. It happens. I have this colleague of mine. She went on vacation last year, and she didn't come back out until sometime. She went about in November, December, and she didn't come back out until around February, March. And it's because of the same thing. She went into a very depressive state. Very, very depressed. She could barely walk. She could barely do anything for herself. She's like shaking, and you know, and it was kind of real. You know, it was kind of, how to put it? Her family, well, yes, she had support, and she was like, I couldn't believe it. I said, wait, you know, it was so bad. So she had it to the extreme. But thank God, not everyone will have it to that extreme. So when the mood changes, we need to have, like, you know, you have adequate sleep, you're active, be active, and then you try to lessen the amount. Don't take on too much things at one time, because that will just weigh you down. And with sometimes you get too much you can't handle, it becomes very stressful at times, and that could even put you over to those kind of mood swings, you know. And if you realize that the mood changes and anxiety at the same time, they tend to overlap. Only the anxiety and the depression tends to be a little more extreme than just the mood swing, but they all can make time. So sometimes we have to look at it to say they're just the near mood swings from the anxiety and depression, which the anxiety and depression is a little more serious than just the normal mood swing. Of course, you have to go to your doctor. In everything, we go to a doctor. And what helps in this kind of way is to be among people. You join group, right? You join groups and things like that so that will always keep your mind away from maybe even other stressing situations like family changes, work-related thing, financial, and whatever. So you tend to keep you away from those things that could even act as a trigger to these things coming on. So we ensure that we have good sleep pattern, go the same time every night, make sure it's about 7 to 8 hours, which is sometimes very difficult to do, but something you have to try. Also, you know, alcohol, you limit that, you lower the stress levels by doing what necessary is, all positive. right? And of course it interferes with our sexual behaviors and even feelings. So how can this, what effect it have on our health? Well, coming off from these little things, because little things adds up. And it can go into even something more serious like heart disease, strokes, osteoporosis, because normally osteoporosis is bone loss, and that is also a form of the aging process. So you find you will get little bones, and you find you will get a lot of fractures easily. Some of you might just go and maybe just slide a little, and the bones are broken. So we have to be careful of that. So many of the things is what we have already spoken about. Some of you have oral problems. Stroke is because, and they said, the risk for stroke is double at the age of 55 over a decade period, right? And you know, heart disease, it's basically is that because of the lowered, that estrogen level that helps to open the arteries, it's because of the lower effect, it tends to build up in the walls, so it could block the heart, the vein going to the heart, and it could also block vein going to the brain, which will cause a stroke. Right, so just to give you a little reminder, so just what we said, active, quit smoking, all those things, one important thing, you must practice safe sex, because nobody wants another pregnancy when they're in their 50s, right? But if it falls, count it as a blessing, right? It is a blessing because it won't just happen just so. Children or child or children is a blessing. So in conclusion, we just want to do, what can we remember? It is a transition with body changes, and it's a no in the aging process. It's a transition that often it is less dramatic than people will tell you. Sometimes you have to experience it yourself, but at the same time you take note. It affects the entire family. So there is where family support is important, right? And if I should may have said that, although there were not much references in the Bible, the only reference that came up in the Bible is with Sarah and Abraham. Remember, Sarah was within her age when she became pregnant, so much that she even laughed at God to say, well, at my age, this is what you come in and tell me and what have you know. But she had her husband there as a support when that actually happened, you know. So be careful on that part. Menopause is a normal stage. It's not a disease that requires cure. And no matter what the experience might be, help is just a prayer away. And God is able, and He's the great one, the greatest physician of all. So there's nothing that we go to that He would not help us. So knowing our deepest and deepest, you always have prayer, you always have that hand, always outstretched, waiting to just, because He's expecting you to come all the time, you know, but sometimes we just shift away from His hands. But we need to go back. We need to proclaim. So sometimes it is not a secret. We need to proclaim it to not the parish and the parish, but the persons who are most affected. Let them know what is happening to you so that they will be able to understand. And we're talking about your family. Let them understand what is actually happening. And this is the reason why X could not have been done, or X is as it is, right? Instead of just, so when you keep them out of the dark, out of the loop, they will not be able to help you. And at this point in time, women need all the help that they can have. And at this point, what? I just want to say thank you for your interactions and your listening in.
Thank you, Sister Sylvia, for your informative speech on menopause and what we can do about it. At the Ministry of the Word.
Christian friends, let's read the credit. The colleague.
Job.
wherein the whole body of Christ is governed and sanctified. Hear our prayer, which we offer for all your faithful people, that in their vocation and ministry they may serve you in holiness and truth, to the glory of your name, through our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Amen. The lesson is entitled Birth and Youth of Moses. Now a man from the house of Levi went and married a Levite woman. The woman conceived and bore a son. And when she saw that he was a fine baby, she hid him 3 months. When she could hide him no longer, she got a papyrus basket for him and plastered it with bitumen and pitch. She put the child in it and placed it among the reeds on the bank of the river. His sister stood at a distance to see what would happen to him. The daughter of Pharaoh came down to bathe at the river, while her attendants walked beside the river. She saw the basket among the reeds and sent her maid to bring it. When she opened it, she saw the child. He was crying, and she took pity on him. This must be one of the Hebrews' children, she said. Then his sister said to Pharaoh's daughter, shall I go and get you a nurse from the Hebrew woman to nurse the child for you? Pharaoh's daughter said to her, yes. So the girl went and called the child's mother. Pharaoh's daughter said to her, take this child and nurse it for me, and I will give you your wages. So the woman took the child and nursed it. When the child grew up, she brought him to Pharaoh's daughter, and she took him as her son. She named him Moses because she said, I drew him out of the water. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God.
The lesson this morning is taken from Psalm 112, and read responsibly. Praise the Lord. Happy are those who fear the Lord, who greatly delight in his commandments.
Their descendants will be mighty in the land. The generation of the upright will be blessed.
Wealth and riches are in their houses, and their righteousness endures forever.
They are in the darkness and the light of the upright. They are gracious, merciful, and righteous.
It is well with those who deal generously and lend, who conduct their affairs with justice.
For the righteous will never be moved. They will be remembered forever.
They are not afraid of evil things. Their hearts are full, secure in the Lord.
Their hearts are steady. They will not be afraid. In the end, they will look in triumph on their foes.
They have distributed freely. They have given to the poor. Their righteousness endures forever. Their whole is exalted in honor. And together, they gnash with their teeth and melt away, and the desire of the wicked comes to nothing. The word of the Lord.
Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, world without end. Amen.
Good morning, brothers and sisters in Christ.
And big sister.
The reading is taken from Acts chapter 18, 1 to 4, and from 18 to 20. After this, Paul left Athens and went to Corinth. There he found a Jew named Aquila, a native of Pontus, who had recently come from Italy with his wife Priscilla. Because Claudius had ordered all Jews to leave Rome, Paul went to see them, and because he was of the same trade, he stayed with them, and they worked together. By trade they were tent makers. Every Sabbath he would argue in the synagogue and would try to convince Jews and Greeks. 18 to 28. After staying there for a considerable time, Paul said farewell to the believers and sailed for Syria, accompanied by Priscilla and Aquila. At Cenchreae, he had his hair cut, for he was under a vow. When they reached Ephesus, he left them there. But first, he himself went into the synagogue and had a discussion with the Jews. When they asked him to stay longer, he declined. But on taking leave of them, he said, I will return to you, if God wills. Then he set sail for Ephesus. When he had landed at Caesarea, he went up to Jerusalem and greeted the church, and then went down to Antioch. After spending some time there, he departed and went from place to place through the region of Galatia and Phrygia, strengthening all the disciples. Now there came to Ephesus a Jew named Hollis, a native of Alexandria. He was an eloquent man, well versed in scriptures. He had been instructed in the way of the Lord, and he spoke with burning enthusiasm and taught accurately the things concerning Jesus, though he knew only the baptism of John. He began to speak boldly in the synagogue, but when Priscilla and Aquila heard him, they took him aside and explained the way of God to him more accurately. And when he wished to cross over to Achaia, the believers encouraged him and wrote to the disciples to welcome him. On his arrival, he greatly helped those who, through grace, had become believers, for he powerfully refuted the Jews in public and showed by the scriptures that the Messiah is Jesus. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to the Lord.
And this is Canaanite woman's faith. Jesus left that place and went away to the district of Tyre and Sidon. Just then, a Canaanite woman from that region came out and started shouting, "Have mercy on me, Lord, Son of David. My daughter is tormented by a demon." But he did not answer her at all. And his disciples came and urged him, saying, "Send her away, for she keeps shouting after us." He answered, "I was sent only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel." But she came and knelt before him, saying, "Lord, help me." He answered, "It is not fair to take the children's food and throw it to the dogs." She said, "Yes, Lord, but even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from the master's table." Then Jesus answered her, "Woman, great is your faith. Let it be done for you as you wish." And her daughter was healed instantly. This is the word of God, the gospel of Christ.
Praise be to Christ, our Lord.
Please be seated. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, I come before you, thanking you for the mercies that you have bestowed upon us, thanking you for sending Jesus Christ, our Son, your Son, who can show us the way. So Lord, let the words of my mouth and the meditation of our hearts be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, our strength and our Redeemer. Amen. So today, as you know, is Women's Day, so men feel special because it's our day, right? And the theme is chosen people, women called to proclaim. Now, I am convinced that women who pray and acted in faith have done more to influence our history today than any other single force. Let us look at some of the women from the Bible. We read about Jochebed. She protected her son, and she made sure, if with prayer and with faith, I'm sure she was praying all the time, that could you imagine that this Pharaoh sent out to kill these boys, and she's there, she secured her son, and she made sure that he was okay. And what happened? Her son became royalty and a strong leader. What we say about Priscilla? Priscilla supported her husband Aquila, and they assisted Paul in his ministry. They went on to assist Apollo even after Paul had left. And a lot of souls were won to Christ because of that. You know what he's saying? It was then and it still applies today. Behind every strong man is what?
Strong woman.
All right, so we know it. Yeah, so Esther now, she was able to influence the king, her husband. You remember that at that time she went and she pleaded on behalf of her people. And at that time, you know, they were not supposed to go before the king, but it was her husband, even though it was her husband, but she went. But she didn't just go alone, she went with whose blessings? God's blessings. And she went and she ordered her people were saved. You know, when we look, we have so many strong and courageous women. And there's a saying that goes, a strong woman acts courageously. You can try, but she keeps going, more determined than ever when you try to stop her. So our lesson today will come from Matthew, the gospel lesson. And we will talk about that Canaanite woman. Now that woman cried out to Jesus for healing for her daughter, and she got it. But what did she just get it just like that? Let's look at what she went through to accomplish this. First, as she entered, what she did? How did she address Jesus? She said, "Jesus, Son of David," which indicated that she knew him and his royalty origin. And she also accepted him as a healer and a Messiah. Now, many people may look at the things that happened and the responses of Jesus and wonder how this Jesus, who I have been hearing, who who is so passionate. How could Jesus be answering this woman like that? But there was a reason. And by the end of this message, you all will understand the reason. Jesus didn't answer her. Even though she said, Jesus, son of David, and she went and she greeted him like that, but he didn't answer. And why do you think Jesus didn't answer? Because Jesus, in his knowledge, he was testing her faith. He was drawing out from her the amount of faith she had to prove a point. You know? So he went on and then, you know, at least that was an action of rejection. But was the woman moved? Did that stop her? No. Right? So she went on and then what happened there? You have the disciples coming now. So that lady talked and she begged Jesus and Jesus didn't answer and all this. But what she did? She, you know, oh, these men are following him. I can even cry out to them. They have to hear me. My daughter has to be healed. So she cried out to the disciples. And the disciples come out now and they say, Jesus, let her go away. Send her away. Why do you think they wanted him? You know, let us stop hearing this woman just going on and on and on. And some of the men who present here can know, you see sometimes when your wife wants something, you say the same thing. Look, let me just give her so I could, you know, so she could, I could heal, she could stop. I don't want to say she could shut up, right? But, but you know, you keep on. So the disciples stop. But what did Jesus say? Jesus responded, I was sent only to the lost sheep of Israel. Why Jesus said that? You know, so Jesus knew, you know, at the time, she's not a Jew. She's a Gentile, a Canaanite woman. You know, do you think that's what Jesus was thinking? No. Our Jesus is bigger than that. But what did the woman do? Because if you hear somebody say, I wasn't sent for you, you will, some people may feel, well, that will demoralize them. They'll feel, you know, rejected in some way. But what did she do? She went on out to worship Jesus. Because what she did, she knelt at his feet. She knelt at his feet. And, you know, she knelt at his feet. She just continued to plead with him because we know what was wrong with her daughter. She loved her daughter. And she said, I am not giving up. So she knelt at his feet. And when she continued to plead with him, what did Jesus say? It is not fair to take the children's food and throw it to the dogs. Now, I mean, if you put yourself in that woman's position, I'm sure many times, you know, if you go to somebody and these are the kind of responses you get, you find persons may leave and walk away and say, you know, this Jesus they're talking about, he's not really who they think he is, you know, because I went to him and these are the kind of responses that I get. She could have felt insulted. But did she give up? No. What she said, even the dogs eat crumbs from under the master's table. She showed definite humility. In those days, the Gentiles and so were referred to as the dogs, you know, so that when this was said, and the dogs was, they really call them the dogs to tend to make them feel, you know, they look down on them. But that did not stir that woman at all. She was able to get what she wanted. So what happened after that? Jesus commended her. Jesus commended her. He admired her faith. And you know what Jesus was doing? Jesus brought out of her to show that these people who you all call dogs, look at, despite all of that, she was able to still hold on and get what she wanted. I did not come only to you all. Even though it was said in words, in the actions, what he showed is that he is able to do it for everybody because he came to save everybody, right? So we're looking at, after Jesus healed her, you know, she was able to leave that place, healed by Jesus, blessed by Jesus. her daughter healed. And do you think she left happy? Yes, she did. You think if there were not people in the crowd who were following Jesus who also had problems? Some may have been Jews. In fact, most would have been Jews. But you know what? Who came to Jesus and she got what she wanted? You know, it reminded me of a story where a man used to come to church every day. This person coming off the streets and he walking and he had no shoes and he was looking a little dirty. But one thing, he sat down in the church and every time they say something that he really appreciated, he said, Amen, Hallelujah. And people started to get a little, you know, weary. This man only coming, he's looking so dirty. He always there shouting out. And then one person said, okay, I know how to get him to stop. So she went to say, listen, you have no shoes on your feet. If you stop saying hallelujah and amen, I'll buy shoes for you. Now this man was walking, I think barefooted, and he really was happy to hear he will be getting some shoes. So he came to church and everybody was saying, okay, that day morning he sat. And for the first part of the service, I think he's listening and he's quiet, he's there, but he's quiet. Because all he's studying is he will get some shoes if he kept quiet. Man, when his spirit took him so, he get up and he says, shoes or no shoes, praise the Lord. So, we want to know, we want to look on at how we can be doing things to save, to be able to do what we're supposed to be doing. Jesus was trying to show us that despite, and the people there, and of course, because of that powerful message that he sent there, people, we know today that we could derive so many blessings because despite the amount of obstacles that you may face, if you keep your focus on Jesus, you will get the results you want. Remember we said, she walked away, not anymore a woman in distress because of her daughter, but she walked away as a winner. The Bible says that the fervent prayer of a righteous availeth much, right? So when we look and we feel sometimes that we didn't accomplish what we think, you know, sometimes, I know men do it too, but we're talking about women today, but sometimes when we didn't do something that we feel we wanted to get done, we beat up on ourselves, you know, and we feel like we fail when we do something. But you know what we should remember? That God gives us the faith and the confidence to do what He wants us to do. So sometimes if things didn't work out the way we wanted to, maybe it is not the way God wanted it to be. And what we must do, we must always look back at the positive things that happened in our lives. Each one of us here, I am sure, could think back of something that they did for somebody that was a positive message in that person's life. Somebody who could turn around and say, because of that person, I am blessed today. But sometimes when we look, if you keep looking back at the negative things, you are not using the ammunition that God gave you to move forward, and this is what you want to do. I remember there was a woman while I was nursing. She came into the emergency area, and she was having what we call air hunger, difficulty to breathe. She was getting blue, and they sent for the doctor, the specialist to come into her. But then when I looked at her, I realized that by the time that doctor reached, this woman wouldn't be here anymore. So I decided she has to cough because they could know that something is blocking her passage. I stood in the way, and we did whatever nursing thing has to be done, and I had just gone to Augustus Long. I worked in the intensive care unit, so I was a little more experienced than the persons who were there. And eventually, that woman coughed. Now, when she coughed, I was covered in blood. But you know what? She coughed, and she started breathing. By the time the doctor reached, she got back her color. The doctor didn't have to do much anymore. And every day up to today, she's alive. I'm talking about something that happened over maybe 15, 20 years ago. But I'm saying that every time I see that woman, I feel something inside of me because I know that she is here today because of the action that I took. I am sure that there are many of you who have people who you impacted on. Look at these people. Sometimes take these blessings that God gave you. Everybody have a purpose that God put them here. And you put them, you want to fulfill the purpose for which you were created. So don't worry about what you can't do, because what you can't do. God gives us the faith and the confidence to do it. So if you're confident in yourself, you know that confidence is faith activated. You don't try to impress others. Focus more on building your strength rather than working on your weakness.
Amen.
You cannot have what God wants you to have if you don't be in agreement with God. So therefore, look at yourselves. When you're feeling that time when you may feel down, and we know that there are times when you may feel down. When you feel that time, instead of looking at, oh Lord, what I didn't get done. Sometimes you go something, I should have done this and I should have done that. And you don't stay doing that. You know what you start studying? The things that you did. The good things about yourself. Focus on, and you know what you're doing? As you focus on the good things you're building. I'm sure each of us may have a song or a part of scripture that we know that we like. And what happens when you come to church here and you leave at that last hymn, it's a last hymn that you love so much. What you find happen for the day? You keep singing that song, you're on a high. So therefore, when you have those negative things that may come into your life, what you want to do, focus on that song, that hymn. You go in the bathroom, you can't sing, the soap wouldn't complain. Just keep singing and give God the glory. Do whatever note you could make. You can't make it high, make it low. But when you continue and you're in that mode, you find that if you get up in the morning and things didn't work out, but you start off and you leave your home by singing, what happens? I didn't sing when the rain started, but what happens is that you find for the day, if even you want to change into something negative, you will come right back to it and say, look, you know what? I'm not letting anybody disturb my day today because I am a winner. I am a child of the Most High God. So we want you all to know, tough times never last, but tough people do. The saying goes that calm seas never make good sailors. Just think of yourself. If you're going through this life and you have everything the way you want, you leave any room for God to work in your life? When you feel you have, no, you have to have that challenge. And when you have that challenge builds you. That challenge builds you. So each of us, I know we are proud. I know we want to be able to check, to look at the areas of our lives where we can be able to say, I have been blessed. Don't try to live another person's blessings. You have yours. We have many people who are buried with their gifts and they never use it because they never take time to look at themselves and look within. Introspection is a very healthy thing to do. Always look and say, I know what I can accomplish. Right? So what we want to ask you all, we want to know that when you feel stressed out also, what you do, you go to God and pray. You say that prayer. You keep that prayer. You keep that song of faith. And one of the physical things that God, because God in His wisdom when He built us, He made us with things to combat any problems that we have, situations that we may have. Just simply taking a deep breath. Take a deep breath, hold it in, and breathe out slowly. And I want each person here when they need to be able to practice this. It works. When you take a deep breath, try it while you sit, everybody sit upright, and take a deep breath. Which part of your body rose when you take the deep breath? When you take your chest. Anybody, abdomen came out when they took a deep breath? Alright, that's probably because you're sitting. But when you are breathing properly, you do not breathe with your chest. Anytime because your lungs are in the chest, people feel that your chest is supposed to come out and your tummy go in. But one of the things that we practice You know, you put your hand, so when you go home, go in front of the mirror. Put your hand on your chest and your hand on your tummy. You take a deep breath. If your hand go in and the chest come out, you're not breathing properly. Listen, as we get older, if we don't use it, we lose it. The bigger part of the lungs is below, not on top. So when you take in just breathing with your chest, it has parts of your lungs that you're not using. As you grow older, you're going to be able to have less, because what is not used will be inactive after a while. So you breathe with your tummy out, and then you hold it, breathe out slowly. Your tummy rises and then your chest rises. So that is the proper way to breathe. So go home and try it and make sure that you're breathing properly. If you don't, everybody knows how to Google. If you don't understand what I say, you could Google it. And it is a good practice, especially for when you get older. It minimizes a lot number of complaints that people may have, because we know if you breathe properly, you take in enough oxygen, you will have a healthier body. So, at this point, I want to ask you, you men too, it's Women's Day. Tell a woman every off and on how much you love them. Women need to love to hear it. And you know what? We, as Christian people, always remember that regardless of who say what, don't let anybody create your world. They will always create it smaller. Know to tell yourself, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I am blessed. I am important. God loves me. Thank you very much. I would like us to sing. As we start, I want us to really sing lustily. If somebody, as I pass along.
If I can help somebody
As I pass along, if I can show somebody in the world lost song, I can show somebody.
Thank you.
The soup
Now we
was
have
complete.
Stuart on duty.
Good morning, brothers and sisters in Christ.
Amen.
In the name of the Father, in the name of the Son, and in the name of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Let me once again take this opportunity to wish all the women a happy Women's Day throughout the MCC as we celebrate women, and may we see ourselves as a chosen people called to proclaim. As I scan quickly, I'm not seeing any visitors sharing with us, so I want to warmly welcome all our members and thank God for you. I pray and trust that you had a great week last week. Did you?
Oh, yes.
In spite of whatever challenges or whatever issues you may have gone through, you are more than a conqueror in Christ who strengthens you. You are an overcomer. You are a winner, and you can do it. So I pray and trust that this week will be even better, and that you will just plant your feet deeper and deeper in Christ. I want to acknowledge our liturgist and our preacher for today, Sister Diane Moore and Sister Annette George, or Larissa Charles. I want to thank God for the both of you, and I pray and trust that God will continue to strengthen you both. Thanks and appreciation to our ushers, to our readers, our musicians, our cleaners, our audiovisual team. Thank all of you for your contribution. Prayers. Let us continue to remember one another in our prayers. I want you to remember our congregation at this time, and also all other prayer concerns. Yes, I say our congregation, because we need to look around and see what is taking place. And it can only be turned around through prayer. So that I'm asking you to continue to pray for our church, that we're closing off the church year, but the new church year, September 2019 into August of 2020, will be even greater and better than what we are and what we may be going through at this time. Birthdays and anniversaries. Do we have anybody celebrating a birthday today or during the course of the week? Please stand. Your birthdays? Pardon?
We have somebody on here.
They're not here. Okay, so the birthday people are not here. All right, we move right along. Any anniversaries?
No.
All right, we move right along. The notices are as follows. Bible study continues this Tuesday at 6 p.m. and the reading is taken from Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verses 7 to 10, which takes everything, the theme is take everything in stride, and the theme is living is for all. So Bible study on Tuesday evening at 6 p.m. Midday service takes place on Wednesday at 12 noon. The preacher will be Brother Hector Marcel. So please, as many that can attend the midday service, please do so. Wesley Preschool graduation exercise. This takes place on Thursday, this Thursday, the 27th of June from 10 a.m. So please remember Wesley Preschool in your prayers during the course of this week. The recognition and commission service for Sister Marissa Hassel Lawrence and Sister Dion Small Durant. This takes place next Sunday, the 30th of June at 5 p.m. All are invited. Please make every effort to support them by your prayers and also by your attendance. We know they had their trial service, of which many of us attended, so now they are going to be fully accredited as local preachers or as preachers in the Methodist Church. So this takes place next Sunday at 5 p.m. MES reunion meeting. This takes place on Saturday, the 6th of July, 2019 at Kelshaw Memorial at 4 p.m. And for further information, you can contact Reverend Clifton or or Sister Marilyn Melville. So persons who did the MES walk, whether you did it in Trinidad or in St. Vincent or any other part of the world, they're having an MES meeting on the 6th of July. South Trinidad Circuit Youth Camp. This takes place from July 28th to August 2nd at Victory Heights Bible Camp, Oruka. The theme, Lego and Let God. The registration is still open, and persons desirous of more information can contact Brother Andrew Cadet or Sister Adiola Chase. Youth Encuentro. This takes place from July 22nd to 28th in Belize. Missionary 2019. Missionary 2019 will be held here in San Fernando. We have the normal on Sunday morning, but on Sunday evening of the 21st of July at 6 p.m., Missionary will be held here in this congregation. Our target's supposed to be $30,000, and we had said we had gone a little stretch further and said that we would have tried to do a $50,000, which meant us, the $20,000 would have been for us here in San Fernando to carry out our mission work. I think we only met that target of mission once, and since then we haven't. So I'm asking us, please, if we can, at least if we can't meet it, at least try as much as we can. If you're interested in getting books, collecting books, please check any of the stewards or even Sister Pat. The monies collected this year will go towards the Methodist schools within the district, so that we are looking at missions to our school for this year. We have to plan our service, and we have to make missionary all that it can be in this year 2019. So take the date down, Sunday the 21st at 6 p.m. Alright? So there is one other thing that I need to bring to your attention. As I said, it is something for prayerful consideration. San Fernando assessment, as you know, we belong to the circuit, and it is 11 churches that make up the South Trinidad circuit, of which San Fernando is one. Our monies, our monthly contribution or whatever, or rather, our assessment for the period of September of each year to August of the other year, it's $200,000, which means it is $50,000 per quarter. So every 3 months, we're supposed to pay $50,000 into the circuit. We break it down a little further, which means it is $16,666 recurring, all right, that we're supposed to pay monthly towards our assessment. San Fernando has been noted for meeting its assessment and even exceeding it. But for the last 2 years, San Fernando has been failing miserably in that area. And we can look around and know why we have been failing in such. What can we do as a church to be able to rectify that? Yesterday was R&D, and San Fernando is out by $16,000+, which they said we need to pay. God knows, and only God will do what God can do. But we need your help to change that around at least for the coming church year of September 2019 onward, right? We are not a congregation that owes, and we don't want that stigma to be on us. So how can we get our bills paid? Because the thing about it is that whatever monies go into the circuit, that is to run all the churches, to pay the ministers, do whatever has to be done for the circuit. What you give to San Fernando, which we are thankful for what we have been receiving, we need to do more than we are doing at this time. Because the thing about it is that we still have the air condition, need to pay for electricity, everything. We still have other things, the cleaning of the sanctuary, things that still our daily needs to be met, and still have to pay the circuit their $16,000+ when the month comes. So I know it's hard at this time, but we can do it with God's help, and I ask you to help me and help the rest of the stewards to turn around this stint that we are going through at this time. So your prayers and deeper pockets to help us to make that possible. These are all the notices that I have for today and for the week. And one other thing, we know if this is happening now, we have to look at what is happening when we go on vacation, which is the next 2-3 months. So please see what we can do, help us to make this possible. So thank you very much, and the stewards will now wait upon you for your tithes and offering. If you were to pledge $1 US, or if not, at least $10, right? So the regular offering now. Where from is $10? It's to every woman, every MCC woman normally gives $1 US towards the whole work of the Women's Week within the district, right? So that we are asking that you pledge that $1 US. But if you didn't work with the US, we will take the 10 TT. Thanks. As I said, my conversion is 10 TT. No, I don't know cry me. But we know that in your word you said you will supply all our needs according to your riches and glory, O God. So we break every chain and every shackle, O God, that would have us to be in bondage at this time in our finances. And we pray, O God, that you will set us free, that we will be able to do all that we have to do in your precious name, O God. We thank you even now for those who have the opportunity, O God, to give towards the MCCA women, O God. And I pray, O God, that these monies will be used wisely for the work in that vineyard. So God, take all these offerings now and use them. And in using them, O God, use us too, that we will be able to make a difference in this part of the vineyard. These and all other mercies we ask in the name of Jesus Christ, our Lord and our Savior. Amen.
Back to the Lord's Prayer.
busy world awaits your compassion. Go in faith.